Hello, all you coin aficionados out there, and welcome to the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today we're going to talk about some nickels from the early 2000s. And um, in specific, we're going to talk about the years 2003, 2004, 2005, and 2006. And many of you have seen these nickels. This nickel here, the Jefferson nickel with the Felix Schlag engraving on the front. In God We Trust, Liberty 2003, and there's a P. In God We Trust, Liberty 2003, there's a D. And then when you flip them over, of course, you see Monticello on the back. And these were the nickels that the United States minted from 1938 until the year 2003. And there were a couple years in the middle, the war years, from 42 to 44, so 42, 43, and 44, where they changed the composition is actually some silver nickels from then. And they also they also put a Philadelphia mint mark on those, which they hadn't done prior to that and didn't do after that for a long time. So this is what we looked at in 2003. We had the 2003P, the 2003D, and then there was a 2003S, but that's a San Francisco mint, and that's a proof coin. So you're usually not going to find that in circulation, and it's going to be worth quite a bit more. In 2004, they pretty much did the same thing on the front, or obverse, and that is they have the same Jefferson as 2003. It says, "In God We Trust, Liberty, the star, 2004D here." In God We Trust, Liberty 2004 P here. Again, we have a Felix Schlag engraving on the front. But then when we get to the back, you're going like, hey, wait a minute. What did they do here? And this is what they did in 2004 and 2005. They put out 4 different nickels for the Lewis and Clark um, bicentennial. And in 2004, I mean, it was the 200th anniversary. So what happened first, and this we probably should have put them in this order, in 1803, the United States bought the Louisiana Purchase from the country of France. And it included Louisiana, but it went all the way up through to Montana, Idaho, Nebraska, all up through from Louisiana all the way up to the Canadian border. And so this is the first one of the 2004s. It is and you can see it says 2004. It is the Louisiana Purchase. It's 1803. Now, why is it the 200th anniversary? Well, Lewis and Clark didn't leave in 1803. They left in 1804. So these are to commemorate the 2004 200th anniversary or bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition, where they went across the West from St. Louis, Missouri, I believe, to um, Portland, Oregon, or out in that area. So, United States of America, it says Louisiana Purchase 1803, pluribus unum 5 cents, and it has the handshake of the, it's kind of a cool, I don't know if you can see that very well, but there's the eagle on here, and on this one here, it's the 3 stripes from the French. So it's Americans and the French. This is I believe it's a tobacco pipe, and this is an axe. And this coin here was not designed, obviously, on the back by Felix Schlag, who died, I think, in the late 30s. This one, the front was designed by, engraved by Felix Schlag, but the back was designed by, well, they had 2 different designers on these. This one was N.E. Nemeth, N-E-M, and this one here, if you look on the back of this one, this is a keelboat design. This is the second one that came out in 2004. And the keelboat design was designed by A. Moletsky, and you can see his initials way back here, the AM. So the second of the coins, um, which they released in 2004, same thing, E pluribus unum, United States of America, 5 cents. It says Lewis and Clark down here instead of Louisiana Purchase. It has them rowing the keel boat, and that was the keel boat was essentially the boat that they used on the rivers, and you could pole it, you could paddle it, you could see the U.S. flag on the back, and you could sail it, and again the same front. So we had a P and a D for both of these, for both the keel boat and Louisiana Purchase in 2004. Then came 2005. And in 2005, again, two more commemorative kind of issues. And these were all went into general circulation. So when I wanted to find these, I just got about 20 rolls of nickels and was able to find all of them within the 20 rolls. Now, some are harder to find than others, and this one here is the hardest to find of all, even though they made the most of this. So they made about between 350 and 400 million of all of them coins except for the Buffalo coin. And the Buffalo coin they made about 450 million, but people just love these coins and they keep them. So this is the American buffalo to show some of the animals that Lewis and Clark saw when they were going across. And this is when they hit the ocean, and it says, "Ocean view, oh the joy." You can see that on there. And these coins are a little bit shiny, as you can tell, and a little bit hard to light. Now, this coin probably reminds you a lot of the Buffalo nickel from before 1938. And here's, if you look at this is, I'll show you, I'll turn this over for you. This is the 1937. In 1938, they made the Buffalo nickel and the Felix Schlag design nickel. So this is a 37, and see how the Buffalo is facing this way. On the 2005, it's facing this way. Same kind of look to the Buffalo, standing on some land with some grass. Little bit different design. Now, the Buffalo on this particular coin was not designed by the designer of the Buffalo nickel. This was designed by J. Frankie. And the front, and this is where it gets weird, they didn't have the same fronts. So in 2004, in 2004, for the initial ones, they had Jefferson looking left on the front, essentially the first portrait of Jefferson. In 2005, they flipped it over and they did this kind of weird with a script Liberty. It says, "In God We Trust," script Liberty. Funny place for the mint marks. So there's a D and the P, and then the date way down the bottom. So if we look, you can see just how drastically they changed this coin. They turned them from facing left to facing right. They moved the date and the mint mark, which were together on this side, into two different positions. They put Liberty here rather than up here. So see how this one says, "In God We Trust, Liberty." On this one, it's all over here, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and then the mint marks. So in 2005, they switched to this face for the last two of the Lewis and Clark expedition. And then in 2006, they came out with the same face on the front. Well, a different face on the front again. So if you look at this now, so he went from, let me see if I can get that, facing to the left, and then in 2005 he was facing to the right, and then in 2006 he is like a head-on or almost head-on look at you, and it's a different Jefferson. So he's not, he doesn't have the hair and it's just totally different. So in 2006 they changed it up again, and then they put Monticello back on the back. So we went through a huge number of changes. Hopefully you kind of understand what we did. But so between 2003 and 2006, we went from the standard Jefferson nickel to the special backed nickels, to the nickels with the image of Jefferson facing to the right. And then finally we ended up with the regular Monticello back again, but Jefferson facing like 3/4 to the camera, or even maybe facing full on to the camera, or to the engraver. Now these particular engravings, when we finally get to this one, the front of these nickels in the 2006 um, again have the same back on them. So they have the Felix Schlag back on them, but on the engraver, I mean the Felix Schlag, yeah, back for Monticello, but the engraver on the front in what they call the Return to Monticello is an engraving by Jamie Franke and Donna Weaver. All right, this has been a long video, but hopefully you enjoyed it and picked a little something up from it. Have a great day from the DC Coin World International Coin Channel.